Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay Wilkes with Alight Legal Immigration Law Firm. Thank you for joining us tonight. It is Tuesday, February 16th, and tonight we are going to talk a little bit about civics in the U.S. and how laws are made. The reason I wanted to discuss this tonight and to cover this is because as most everyone who follows immigration news has heard that President Biden has proposed a bill, a citizenship bill, to help over 11 million people gain citizenship status, including undocumented immigrants. And within this bill, there's a whole host of other things included. And we've covered this proposed bill in a few other Facebook Lives. So tonight's content is not about what the bill is about, but instead we want to get ahead of the game because this week we expect that the bill itself, the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021, will finally be introduced to either the House or the Senate in Congress by the end of the week. And we already get questions on a daily basis from clients, former clients, prospective clients, asking, how does President Biden's bill or how does President Biden's immigration law help me? Or does President Biden's immigration law help me? The important thing to understand right now is that it has just been proposed. And so this week, there's going to be a lot of media coverage once it's finally introduced in the House and or the Senate. So I wanted to step back and not talk so much about immigration tonight, but instead, what is the process in the U.S. for legislation in Congress to become law? And it's important for us to understand this process at a basic level. We're not going to go into much detail, but to understand that this hopeful change, this hopeful massive change to many parts of immigration law may take a while. And it's also important to know that it may not happen exactly as planned. So just because the president wants certain things to happen doesn't mean that our legislative branch, one of our three branches of government, will make that happen. And so there's a process that we have to go through. And that's what we'll talk about tonight. Just a brief overview. Hopefully you all will find it interesting to see how laws are made in the US. It can be a messy process, and it can also be a very time-consuming process. So I think it's sort of a cool thing for us to go over in anticipation of the proposed bill this week. So first, let me share my screen with you because I think it will be a lot easier if you can follow along with me. So this is an infographic that the US government has put together on how does a bill become a law. So like I said, we expect this week that the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021 will finally be formally introduced in Congress. And then what happens? So right now, we're at step number one. Every law starts with an idea. And this idea that we have right now is President Biden's plan for immigration reform. This is President Biden's idea of how do we fix our broken immigration system? How do we make our immigration system more humane and fair and follow our obligations under international and domestic law? So he's got this immigration bill we've all heard a lot about, but the general public hasn't seen the actual text. We've only heard summaries and bullet points of what is included in the bill. Well, this week, step number 2 is supposed to happen. We're expecting that the bill is going to finally be introduced to Congress, and a bill can be introduced either in the Senate or the House, but eventually it has to pass both parts of Congress. So we've got to have a Senate vote and we have to have a House vote before it can move on. Now, thankfully, we do already have a senator and a House representative who are going to be the sponsors and introduce the bill. And that's what we're anticipating this week. And once the bill is introduced, then it doesn't automatically become law. So now the messy process begins. And what happens is that we have committees and subcommittees within each congressional chamber. So we've got the House, we've got the Senate, and within each one of those, we have multiple committees. And they're supposed to be more or less the experts on the subject areas, and they work things out, debate things, and before they send the final bill out for a vote. And sometimes bills don't even make it out of the committee. So just because a bill is introduced doesn't mean the bill will make it out of the committee. However, we're hoping, of course, that the immigration bill will make it out of committee and make it to the floor for a vote. But we can't expect that. So with a bill such as immigration, with any bill really, but immigration is a hot topic, and it's also within certain parts of immigration reform, Republicans and Democrats differ greatly. However, there are also some areas where there is some agreement on what should be done and what can happen. So after the bill goes to committee, they finalize it, and then they vote on it. Now, of course, hopeful result is that the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021 goes through committee, goes through votes, it's approved, and then it goes on to the last step, which is the presidential action. We know or assume that President Biden would ultimately vote to approve his own Citizenship Act that he's initially proposed. That's his idea. However, we don't know what's going to be the final result after it goes through committee and vote. So there's always a chance that it could change at the end. And also, I think what is more likely than not that's going to happen and what we should expect and prepare for is that the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021 isn't going to sail through Congress onto the president as is. I expect that it's going to be broken down perhaps into a few different bills and actions where there is more bipartisan support for some areas that they can get through more quickly than this giant behemoth immigration reform bill, which a lot of Republicans are already calling amnesty, which is sort of a trigger word over the last several years that doesn't lead to a lot of support. However, the summaries that have come out make the bill sound like it's just a reasonable, humane approach to being a country welcoming and diverse and humane. So hopefully we will have support across the board, but we can not be sure either way. So hopefully, within the next few months, we'll have an idea if this bill is going to pass as is, but it may be much longer than a few months. So it's important for all of our clients to understand, and those of you who join us on other forums who aren't even our clients, just to understand that when this is proposed, it doesn't mean it's going into effect. And we have to be patient and to find out what's going to be the ultimate result. The ultimate result may be that it's broken into a bunch of pieces, and some of the primary parts that would apply to you or your case may not end up in the final bill. Or it may end up that something even better happens for your case ultimately in the final bill. One thing that worries me is that there are a lot of notarios, and I've even seen some attorneys encouraging people, schedule an appointment, retain me, see if Biden's immigration bill applies to you. As of today, February 16th, we do not know what is actually in the bill. So no attorney or notario or case writer should be telling you that this bill is going to help you. We don't actually know what's in it. Hopefully we will see what it is once it's formally proposed in Congress and the text of the bill is released. But even once the text of the bill is released, we still may not, we're still not going to know what the ultimate results will be. So let me bring the screen back. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to drop those in the comment section. Of course, if you have a personal question, please send that to a private message or to our email address. You can reach us at info@elitelegal.com. And I just wanted tonight to be sort of a brief overview of what it looks like to make a law in the US when it has to pass through Congress. And just to reiterate that all the news you're going to hear this week about the new bill, the immigration bill, and everything it covers and who it helps is just a projection, is a temporary belief of what it's going to cover, because we really don't know ultimately what will be approved and when it will be approved. So, of course, we will always try to keep you updated on our Facebook Live sessions. If you have questions that are particular to your case, please feel free to reach out to us directly. We love having consultations with prospective clients to see if there's something we can work out, if there's some way that we can help you with your immigration case. And if you have questions that you would like addressed on a Facebook Live, feel free to send those in as well. And I just want to check the comments really quickly to make sure I answer any questions that have been proposed. Hi, Shima. So nice to see you. Thank you. Yafet, thank you. We appreciate everyone joining us and watching, and we hope that the information is helpful and valuable. So since I don't see any other questions, I'm going to wrap up. But again, tonight, just wanted to cover that this week we do expect the Citizenship Bill to finally be proposed in Congress. We'll finally get some more concrete information about what is in it. However, we will not yet have concrete information about what will be in the final bill or the final version. So just keep those things in mind. And if you have questions, please reach out. Thanks, everyone. I hope you have a great evening. Bye.